Go Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Good call.
Do you want to play hockey
Yes!
with Steven Dangle? What about Matt Sundin?
Hey!
What about Gary Roberts?
I'm back in. Oh, I'm very in.
Freddie Modine, Todd Warner, Jeff O'Neill, Brian Berard, and more at the Matt Sundin VIP hockey experience from LeoVegas.net. Now, if you go to LeoVegas.net, you will see Matt Sundin. Click on his face, go from there. But if you want to get more direct, LeoVegas.net/promotions. Mm-hmm. And literally, Jesse, you went through this before the show.
So I literally just typed it in, and it's the easiest thing ever, because once you type in LeoVegas.net/promotions, there's a giant green button that says enter here, and you have to enter 3 things: your name, your email, your phone number, and then tick a couple boxes, and then that's it. Then you hit submit.
That's it.
There you go.
I've never seen a contest that's been easier to enter.
There you go. Participation in a hockey game with Matt and other alumni at the University of Toronto Varsity Center. A welcome reception at the Delta Hotel, which last year was fun. Let me tell you a little bit.
Okay.
I can't really talk about who said what. But last year, there was a player who said, definitely John Tavares is going to sign in Toronto.
That's right.
And that player very definitely was a Leafs alumnus. And that player had some good reasons to back it up. And one of the things that player said, and we've mentioned this on the show before, it was that in Toronto, you can sign autographs for the rest of your life and make like $500,000 doing it every year. And it takes you 10, 20 days to earn that money, and then you're done for the year. You don't have to do anything else. And besides the guys that want to get into media and that sort of thing, it's a pretty sweet gig. And he was like, this person said, like, listen, I don't know why he would sign anywhere else.
The guys who get into media are the ones who are going about it all wrong.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
just sign stuff.
Sign stuff.
What you doing? What are you doing going through all the X's and O's?
Agreed.
You're like
Agreed.
going to bed at 3? What?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there are drinks, there is food, and there are stories. And that's going to be I will guarantee, playing hockey with Mats and the guys will be fun. Talking to the guys, hearing their war stories, and getting their opinion on hockey now, I think is going to be the underrated cool part for you.
I'm going to it's going to take every, brain cell I have to not refer to Matt Sundin as Dad. Dad, can I be on your line? Yo, what if I would so love to even get a secondary assist on a Matt Sundin goal, or to just not embarrass myself.
Have you been practicing? Have you gotten a lot better?
A little bit. I got cocky yesterday, so I'm getting better at pivoting.
Okay.
And so I started doing like a bunch one after the other, and then I fell and saw stars. This was literally yesterday. Yeah, I think that's in some cases a concussion.
Yeah.
But,
Were you an athletic guy growing up?
Yeah, I was really fast. I ran track. I was always strong, and I just screwed up my back.
Okay.
Is the only problem.
The only problem with track is there's nothing else involved in track. There's no hand-eye coordination. There's no throwing anything. It's just running.
So I will say I was. Yeah, so what's the difference between athletics and sports? Because I was never good at sports.
Okay.
I was good at running really fast straight and sometimes curved.
when you did the 200 and you had to do a slight bend around.
I was like, oh, I can fly. Anytime, but then you'd think oh, well, then you're good at soccer. No. You put the ball there and it screws everything up. Yeah, I was not athletic. I was good at running straight. For the contest, you got to be 19. And someone asked a very good question. Hey, I'm not 19 today, but I will be next week. The contest is open until March 31st. So if you turn 19 before that, enter. Also Canada only, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Canadian residents only.
Yes, Canadian residents only. It's nice that we have to specify, though.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you to everybody who listens outside of Canada.
Except
we do
for
appreciate
people who listen from Arizona.
Whoa.
Yeah, especially, screw
We
you.
only like real hockey fans.
We go
Wow.
No. I heard
I'm
from
just
one.
Get there, Walker.
I heard from one Panthers fan after last show. One Panthers fan who was just like, hey, I'm a Panthers fan. That's all they said.
Good for you.
I exist.
Hold up a sign. We'll pick you out of the 5 that we see at the next home game.
Will you move to Houston with the team?
Houston. See, I think Quebec.
No, it's going to be Houston.
I like to think
No.
Canada's...
No.
No, it's Canada's time for
Nope.
revenge,
No,
and we're going to steal your team.
Houston is the fourth largest market in North America, excluding Mexico City, which would bump everything out of everything.
Yeah.
And they probably should have a hockey team there if anybody's going to move.
Yeah. Now, it is one of the most southern cities. Like, it's a border city, right? It's pretty southern. So people have thought for some reason that it can't work there. But if we've seen anything in Tampa, in California, whatever, it works in warm weather. You just have to build a franchise there. Like,
dude,
you
Vegas.
Vegas, yeah, perfect example. It can work right away.
Be fun. Be so fun. My father-in-law was at the... Yeah, that too.
I think the thing with Vegas, though, is they never had a team, whereas Houston's got the Rockets and the Astros.
That's true. Vegas is... As a city, they're like, no, we're making this work.
Yeah, we're starving for this.
We finally got one. We're making this work. My father-in-law was at the Vegas-Calgary game where Fleury and Big Save Dave almost fought. You know what's funny? I forgot his last name was Rittich because I just call him Big Save Dave all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it's like the best hockey experience he's ever had.
Wow.
He also said, so tickets, I guess they just grift like Canadian games. They're like $300 a ticket. It's like more expensive than Toronto. It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but it makes sense.
Like the Uber driver or whatever he had is a season seat holder. You know how much it is for like for season seats per year? And I think it was like a 3-year package when the team was announced. It's like $1,300.
Wow.
So they sell tickets to like, I don't know, 3-4 games.
Oh, God.
Man, that is triple what the Panthers cost.
Is it?
I believe you.
We looked into that once. I think it was Florida Panthers tickets.
We should still do it.
Yeah, we should buy season seats and just give them away.
Yeah, like just don't.
That was a really good idea we had.
Yeah, we just never went through it with it because I think it would have been a pain in the ass, to be honest with you.
It'd be
41
a hassle.
games?
Yeah.
How are we going to do that?
I want to do it. I might do it.
Okay, Steve.
We'll see.
You don't have. I love you.
What?
But you don't have the organizational skills for this. Are you going to leave this with
Mrs.
Mrs.
But I do have a
Dangle?
wife. And no, yeah. No.
You have a wife.
Well, she's the smart person in the house.
She does his invoicing.
Yeah. It's SL, Iggy, me, and I'm just ahead of Charlie.
Right. But that's because you don't eat your own poo.
Right.
Last time.
Listen, it's not for everyone. It is for some dogs and other Oshawa residents, I have discovered. Oh, my God. Yes, Jesse?
Jesse?
The 30 days of giveaways is back for the season. That's what sparked our last. Remember last time?
For the Panthers,
that was 2 years ago, yeah. They're doing it again this year. I don't have the list of giveaways, but we can go through them later on the show.
Yeah.
The Holy Grail!
Remember, they would give you like a helicopter ride if you renewed on like the 30th.
You
or
got
something.
to park for free.
Yeah.
And, like, you'd get a jersey.
Doug Sifu will read you a bedtime story.
You get to be an honorary member of the team for one game or something ridiculous.
I want that.
That was cool.
Being on the same team as James Reimer. I want it.
Good.
I want it.
Get you into a team picture.
Oh!
Just Steve and James on the bench alone.
In a Leafs jersey.
Somehow I don't think they'd allow that. You
No,
don't think of
come on.
Panthers.
You know what? I am a Panther. When I went through Be a Pro properly, through junior, and went through the draft, I got drafted by the Panthers.
This is my favorite story because Steve ended up throwing his controller. Tell us why you got frustrated on this one, Steve.
So I can't remember if we made the playoffs the first year. I played it for a long time, and I was like, no, I'm not going to ask for a trade. I'm going to see this through, and I'm going to be on the awful, shitty, very shitty Panthers.
The team was not good.
I don't even think they had Barkov yet.
Everybody's aware, this is your video game.
Yes.
Yes.
I
no,
think that
this was before I hurt my back. I was the wind out there, Jesse.
Keep going.
I was the wind. So I got drafted by the Panthers, and we might have missed the playoffs the first year, or I think we made it. I dragged that corpse of a team to the playoffs, and we lost in the first round. But we got terrible goaltending from our starting goalie, Scott Clemenson. But our backup, Jakob Markstrom, was developing quite well.
Backup Marshall.
He at that point had like a 95 potential or something?
Yeah.
He was doing quite well, and so I'm like, watch, next year he's going to be our starter. Like a couple games into the season, the Panthers traded him straight up for Cal Clutterbuck. And I was like, are you joking me? and then
And that was it.
we lost in the playoffs again, and I went, I can't do this anymore. And I quit.
You lost. Were you playing like extreme mode? Like were you playing like the pro?
Well, I wanted to make it difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. You ever get to your 8th or 9th point of the game and go, maybe I should up the difficulty?
Yes, I have done that. I think in junior 1 year, my character had 100 goals and 75 assists, and I was like,
On defense.
no, I was a center.
Like, oh, okay.
I
Well,
was a
there you
center.
go. At least, well, that makes sense. Then.
It's actually I find it's easier to play D in that game because you can control the play.
Yes. I
And-
like that very much. Oh, did I tell you about my nightmare recently?
Sorry,
I had a nightmare scenario recently. So,
did
have
it involve NHL 19?
yes. No, but you will like this because you know how I usually, well, according to you two slanderers, I don't like to pass or play defense when I play defense.
That is factual information.
That is
both
a
are
lie.
true.
That is a lie. So what I'll do is I'll play dependable, just stand at the point defense in an EASHL. You know how you can tell a schmuck from a good player? The schmucks don't pass to the point. Ever. Ever! And we're losing. So of course I'm starting to pinch more. And then I realize I'm like, this guy's being a puck hog. And then I realize, no, he's not being a puck hog. He's intentionally not passing to me to teach me to stay at the point. And so I get on the mic and I start tearing into this guy. I go, get on the mic. Get on the mic. Hey, it's R2 or R1 or whichever one it is. I'm telling him how to pass. Throws on his mic. He goes, hey, Steve. And he starts giving it right back.
No.
He knew you.
Well, that's the funny thing. He didn't. I
Oh.
thought he did. And we spoke for like 5 minutes. We ended up becoming friends. But then he's like, so who are you?
That's
I was
good.
like, well,
Does he follow you now? Do you guys
I
know
think
each
he
other?
does now.
He sounds like a dick. Anyone who's like, oh, I'm not going to pass to you so you learn how to play this game. No, I'm here to have fun.
In the
That's
middle
why
of
I
our
don't-
argument, I scored a goal, too.
Guys,
And I was
whoa,
like, you're
Jesse.
welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome.
Hockey's not fun. Hockey is not supposed to be fun.
No.
Don't
That's
start
why-
hashtags. Don't stand up
No.
and cheer. Don't appreciate your players. Don't do anything.
No.
Only anger will suffice. John Tortorella misses when we all hated each other, and that's where we need to get back to.
Can I just say I disagree with my colleague Brian Burke? Or were you going to
Well,
get
I
to that
was
later?
gonna-
Can I just say, God forbid you try and play a video game and you don't have to play by a system in your video game.
Okay.
And you just try and play however you want.
One time, I
I
got...
so dumb. It's an online video game. Who cares if I'm at the point? Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? I can be
Cover me.
anywhere. It's a video game.
I saw an opportunity. Get back there.
Yeah.
I got the
give a
puck,
shit.
don't I? What do you...
Sit on my couch in my underwear.
What? Yes, literally.
No, but play this system.
Yeah.
Like what?
Jesse's taking my side on something, everybody. No, there's one time this guy, and it was another one of those guys, Dad! Just
Yeah.
ignoring his friggin' child. And then he's yelling at me about the pinch thing. Again, we're losing. Dude, I'm trying to score for us, because you can't do it. I always yell that at the forwards. They can't hear me, but anyway. He's going, it's clear you've never played hockey before. It is a video game, sir! Oh, it's clear you've never had to sword fight with the Covenant before. Like, what are you, an asshole? Jesus, well, it's clear you were never sent on a mission to assassinate Hitler before. It's a video game!
That's so true.
It's a video game! Jesus Lord, sir!
It's clear you've never robbed a hooker.
Oh my God! Yes! You never gotten into a drive-by gunfight with the Yakuza.
Like, you didn't live in Miami in the 80s. You don't know, man.
Yeah. Hey, you stop enjoying that song. It is far before your time.
It's clear you never robbed a train.
Yeah.
True.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
looks like someone has never gone into the mountains to tame a horse.
Seems like you've never driven a car and had a banana drop out of your rear end.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Someone's never been blue shelled, I guess. Oh, and I was just like, how did you get here?
This guy never stepped on a damn mushroom before.
No, never.
Never been hit by lightning and then gone really slow, clearly.
This is great. I like
Someone has never fought Mike Tyson. Turns out. Also Bruce Lee. Like, oh my.
So
Someone has never found King Hippo's weakness. Now I'm going to games from the 80s. King Hippo, that fuck. Sir, it took me like 6 months to figure out. I don't know. I was a child. Anyway.
I like that one.
That was good. That was deep.
Deep reference.
You know, that's what's great about podcasting is you can go deep.
Yeah.
In radio, you got to kind of stay away from that because, you know, you get people tuning in and tuning out or
Not
whatever.
everyone's going to get that.
Yeah, but in podcasting, even if people don't get it, they'll Google it. And then they'll come back and go, now I get this reference, and this was funny.
I appreciate that. King Hippo, I get it.
Yeah, I was hanging out listening, and I Googled it, and wow, that is quite funny, Stephen.
Yeah.
Can we just?
We haven't talked about a hockey thing yet.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Oh, yeah, technically.
Playing systems. Listen, let me just throw this at you. Brian Burke is playing you like a video game.
Is he?
Brian Burke went to Harvard. Brian Burke is not an idiot.
I've seen his head in person.
Brian Burke.
It's Adam Wilde plus.
That's big.
That's a big head.
That's big. Brian Burke knows exactly what he's doing, and he's enjoying every minute of it.
Is he cape baiting?
Oh baby. So let's. This is from Prospects Watch, but he was on Primetime Sports with Bob McCown yesterday.
Okay, can I say something real quick before you get to that? With all due respect to Prospects Watch, it's amazing how often, and I'm not saying Prospect Watch does this, but it's amazing how often an account such as this will quote someone and be wrong.
With the quote?
Oh.
Yes.
That's why I miss Hope Smoke. Hope Smoke used to get them like bang on. He would just transcribe the whole thing.
Verbatim.
Yeah.
There is at least one person out there who quotes people to suit their own needs.
At least one? You mean the entire website?
At least one. And people shake their fist at this person often.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
But Prospect Watch, assuming this is correct.
and also,
Watch, he was never even on the radio.
ultimately, it doesn't really matter because this is what people are talking about anyway.
People are saying.
So whether he said it verbatim, which I'm assuming he did, I think he did. I'm pretty high, pretty high on cold meds right now. I heard it. Sounds about right.
You heard it in your sleep.
Oh, my
You heard
God.
the audio?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I was
I was
worried about
falling
those
asleep
things.
as it happened. I'm not gonna lie. So
Okay.
if it's not correct, then sue me.
I'm going to sit closer to Jesse after the coffee.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. This is the second time I've been sick in 3 weeks. It's unbelievable.
What are you, a kindergarten teacher?
I know. Who knew that working a normal job would lead to more sickness?
Jeez,
I
you
went
don't
through
even
the
have
whole.
a kid yet. This is going to be your life, by the way. This is going to be
I went through
every
the
day.
whole fall without getting sick, and that's because I didn't have to work.
And now you're paying for it because your immune system's not like
My immune system
grizzled
hasn't been doing
vet.
push-ups like
Yeah.
it needs to. Never played hockey.
Yeah. You've never fought a giant spiked turtle lizard in a volcano dungeon. Have you? Have you? You've never jumped onto an axe that didn't kill you and somehow severed the bridge that the gigantic spiked turtle was standing on. Imposter!
What about the football player who throws boomerangs?
Never mind the football player who throws boomerangs.
Which is weird. That's a weird combo, right?
You've never climbed various buildings and straight, backwards, and diagonally spin kicked people in an alley.
How dare you play this game with me without your real life experience?
Yeah.
Double
You know,
dragon.
that's the thing about that's what Rammer always says. Sean Ramjake said when he says, you know, you want to play NHL 19, you need real world experience first. That was the whole idea.
Yeah.
Right? Real world experience.
Yeah.
Only.
Man,
You got to single A in your local hockey rink. So you have the experience. Steve did not.
I used to love be a GM. And I was like,
Oh, it
God,
was my
I wish
favorite.
I wish they would add this. I wish they would add that. And I haven't played it in years because I'm like, okay, too much.
because
That's too much for you?
It's too much.
Man, I used to love when you
like-
had to earn the second phone.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, when I had 6 phones. And then it sucked, though, because you work so hard to earn them. And then it's like, we'll give you a 7th round pick for your best player. It's like, fuck off. Okay, I just wasted a whole phone. Yeah, and then no one, hey, you don't take my calls anymore. I'm taking away one of your phones. I'm like, offer me better trades.
What was it like, Steve?
Offer me better trades.
That's funny.
I always
I'm
found
a grown man. I said this while while blowing off homework?
I was always very frustrated by the fact that I could never get a good relationship with the team or a great relationship with the team if I offered them a fair deal. I had to give players to them to have a good deal.
Yeah, so what's the point?
Yeah, why
you
am I
gonna lose
giving
a trade to win one?
Yeah, that's insane.
No! I'll stick it out with Cal Clutterbuck on my top line with no starting goalie.
No, you had what's his nuts? What did you have?
What's his nuts? That's not a phrase.
Scott Clemenson.
There you go.
Is that a phrase?
What's his nuts? I'll allow it. I like it very much.
All right, as long as we're all in agreement.
All right, what's his nuts? What were you saying over there?
Can we title the podcast "What's His Nuts"?
So anyway, primetime sports yesterday.
Right.
With "What's His Nuts"?
Now, assuming these quotes are correct, and even if they're not word for word correct, the point here is that this is what Brian Burke thinks, quote unquote thinks. So
you're not convinced he actually?
no, absolutely not. Brian Burke's too smart. This is a guy who finished, I believe, top 10 in his class at Harvard as a lawyer. Brian Burke's no fool. He did silly things as a GM from time to time.
Well,
But,
there you go.
But you can't really blame what happened in Toronto totally on him. Like, there's a guy who would have never signed David Clarkson, would have never bought out Mikhail Grabovski.
They took that team away from him before it was done.
It wasn't done yet. Now, didn't love the Kessel trade, but I didn't mind Kessel.
No, and the return they ended up getting for him, the salary retention really stinks.
Yeah.
But every other part of that trade, they got the big pick that landed them Freddie and Kasperi Kapanen.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
And so Brian Burke took a lot of shit while he was here, as most presidents and CEOs do. Somehow Shanny's been able to get out of that limelight, and that's because he doesn't talk.
It's so nice.
But Brian was on with Bob McCowan, and they asked about Nylander and the Leafs cap situation, and Brian said this: well, I think it's been a disaster. This is one that I feel I don't have to hold back on because I laid out the blueprint for the Leafs on how to get these 3 players signed, and the first rule was they had to win the fight with William Nylander, and they didn't. They got their asses kicked. So once you go to $7 million AAV on him, $6.9 million AAV, and I don't want to exaggerate, I think they mishandled it. I think they overpaid the first guy in the front of the line, thereby guaranteeing overpayment on the second 2 guys. I didn't flunk math in high school. He didn't. And I didn't ace it. But I can add numbers. $6.9 million for your 6th best player. That doesn't work. And then he goes on to say, and this is my favorite quote. This quote is so delicious. Brian Burke on whether Marner should get similar money to Matthews on primetime sports. Gord Stellick was hosting, by the way, and not Bob McCown. Pretty hard to refute that, isn't it? I love Austin Matthews, but he ain't selling tickets. He ain't exciting. Mitch Marner's exciting.
The William Nylander quote.
By the way, Austin Matthews, highest selling jersey in the NHL. But
Matt
he didn't say
Zuccarello
jersey.
was 7th.
I know, weird. But he didn't say selling jerseys. He said selling tickets. So maybe Austin Matthews isn't selling tickets. He's only selling jerseys.
That's it. They like 34 better than 16.
That's right. It's just a better number.
Yeah.
And then let's continue on to this one last quote, and then we'll expand. I think Nylander is gone at the end of the year. I think he's played his last game as a Toronto Maple Leaf this spring. I think Jake Gardner's gone. I think, okay, Jake's gone. Who's going to play those minutes? Who are they going to get? Well, they have Jake Muzzin. They have another Jake. But beyond that, do you think that, and everybody rushes to retweet and share this, do you not think that there's intention here? Do you not think that this guy doesn't know exactly what he's doing?
Well, so the Nylander quote is such a dime a dozen quote. I'm like, yeah, I know you think that. Most people, I'm going to say most people his age, in sports media,
Think that.
whether they work at my company or another, think that. It's just not a shocking quote. The Gardner one, Nylander getting traded,
Whatever.
I
We've heard
mean,
it all
we've had
before.
that discussion. I go in and out of whether or not I think Gardner's going to get re-signed. Matthews doesn't sell tickets? That, it's so over the top, inflammatory, and downright wrong, outrageously wrong, that I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he was just stirring the pot. Because if you think that, thank goodness you are not running my hockey team anymore. Thank goodness. You think Austin Matthews, like Brian Burke, wouldn't have just tripped over himself to get Austin Matthews when he was GM. An amazing goal scorer, big body, and dun-dun-dun-dun, American. You don't think he would have tripped over himself to get Austin Matthews? Over Mitch Marner. Brian Burke would have drafted Mitch Marner. 175-pound Mitch Marner. Really? Stop it, Brian. That's outrageous. I hope he's trolling.
I know he is.
You know he is?
I know he is. Brian Burke has spent enough time on the other side.
You talk to him?
No, I just know it. I just know it.
Would you hide in his
This is
gel bottle?
It's so blatantly obvious. I mean, this is a guy that knew how to get the media's attention his entire career. Now he is the media, and he's getting your attention.
And he loves it.
He loves it. Of course, this is why he's... Do you think Brian Burke needs the money?
No.
Do you think Brian Burke is making a pile of money at Sportsnet? Because I don't. Not relative to what he would have been making with the Flames or the Leafs. This is a guy who made $4 or $5 million a year. Are you serious? Sportsnet's not paying him that. There is not money like that in hockey. Maybe $1 million?
In Canadian media.
Well, even if it went U.S. and NBC, guys like Pierre, those guys are not making much more than $1 million. Hockey is just not that big, and so
which, by the way, sounds like a lot to most people.
Right, but if you compare it to a Skip Bayless who's making $6 or $7 million, that's what who just literally all Skip Bayless does is goes on TV for an hour every day and debates whether or not LeBron James or Michael Jordan are better. That's all he does. That's the entirety of that show every day. Yeah. Every fucking day, and he makes $7 million.
Adam, we're going to air in 10 seconds. Apples or oranges?
Oh, fuck. Oranges.
Okay, I got apples. And that's his whole job.
His whole job.
That's his gig. That's his life.
Brian Burke is doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Brian Burke has got your attention. Brian Burke has outraged you. Brian Burke has pissed you off. Brian Burke disagrees with you, and that makes you mad because what he has as an opinion is outrageous. And guess what? Who's the guy we're talking about every single day on Twitter? Brian effing Burke. He's good at this. He's very good at this. So can I just recommend that everybody leave it alone? You're feeding the animals. You're giving them what they want. And that is his job. His job is to get your attention.
And a good
He's
sport.
got it.
And a good sport. I'm devastated. So they uploaded a few clips from Deadline Day where I was on. I wasn't on very much. But my first hit, I made fun of Burke for the Tyler Biggs trade.
You did?
And they didn't put it on Twitter.
Laugh?
A few people saw it. He smiled. Jeff Merrick in my ear goes, "Oh."
Nice.
That's pretty cool, actually, that you did that.
Can't
what
remember
did you say?
what. I think he made fun of me for having Kyle Dubas glasses. And he's what, we got Kyle Dubas over there? I was like, oh, yeah, sure. Here, I'm making a deal to acquire Tyler Biggs.
Oh. That's good. Well, he can give. He's got to get, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So when you read these
I won't
quotes,
say what he said off air.
when you read these quotes, and shout out to Pete Blackburn, who tweeted the Gord Stellick and Brian Burke tweet and then included the Austin Matthews #1 jersey. He's like, you got to hear both sides. Pete Blackburn is just having a great year on Twitter.
He is so good. He's so good. Kills me. He's a Bruins fan.
Yeah, me too. But I got to tell you, it is one of those things that you got to not let it get to you. Like this is what.
Also, it's hockey.
It's hockey.
Don't let it get to you anyway.
Yeah.
Forget whether or not he's well-meaning. Yes.
Oh, whoa.
Don't you prance in here, my friend,
Yeah.
Oh, you're
and
right.
say, don't let hockey get to
Yeah.
me.
Fair
I
enough.
have watched games with you. It gets to you.
I am going to make another second period video. Can I tell you the most mortifying thing? So I got a haircut yesterday, and Kate, who cuts my hair, she goes, I started listening to your podcast.
Oh, no.
And I just went, which one? Which episode did you... It was the last one. Which, I'm going to say on the scale of our shows, relatively tame.
Yeah.
I think this was a more,
Sure.
so far has been a more realistic look at what the show is.
Yeah.
And Kate, I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Adam's not.
We are.
Yes.
I just think it's really important that people recognize what's being done. And Brian is very, very good at getting people's attention, at shocking you. The fact that we still say truculence, that is a quote from 2008.
It's one of my most favorite words.
Yeah, I never really even heard that word.
Exactly.
Before Brian Burke.
Why do you think he used it?
Yeah.
Because he's good.
But then I started noticing it everywhere, and I'm like, wait, is this because he used it, or is it because I never noticed it before?
Because he used it, and they repeated it. And that's what he does. So give Brian Burke the credit that he's doing exactly what he should be doing for Sportsnet, which is grabbing your attention and understand where he's coming from, which is if he doesn't present an alternate view to Kyle, like if Brian Burke went on the radio and said, wow, everything Kyle Dubas is great.
It's great.
What would they have to talk about?
So the one thing I would say there is, like, I just feel like there isn't a good blend in at least Leafs media anyway. God bless you, Adam.
Sorry.
There isn't a good blend in Leafs media. All the blogs are so pro Dubas, which is fine.
I mean,
I think I'd count myself among them.
Based on his record, how could you not be?
Yeah, well, it's not. And then someone like Berkey might be like, "What record?" Like he just got here, right? But I feel like in the mainstream media, everyone is so incredibly down on the Leafs, not just this season, but just in everything they're doing. Like all season, it's amazing how much. I feel like the coverage of the Leafs is more boring now that they're good, because the regular season does not matter at all.
Well,
to
not
some
especially
people.
not for the last 20 games. It doesn't.
No.
No, but like all year, it's sort of been like, I don't know. Do you think this team's gonna like win the cup? And I'm like, I don't know. It's December. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's January.
The problem is that the correct take usually it doesn't make for good television.
No.
Right.
The correct take is balanced and in between. It's somewhere, oh, well, it'll be good if this happens. It'll be bad if that happens. Here's why they did this. And here's an explanation. But that doesn't drive people to listen or tweet about it or tune in again.
Exactly.
So you need to be inflammatory and say some wild stuff just to get people to watch. And that's what he's doing.
And Jesse, you know
It's a
this
shame.
firsthand. There are guys in the media that just love pissing off Leaf fans. Yeah, I mean, Brian's got to be one of them. I know Sid Sixero's one. You can tell every time Sid goes on a rant about the Leafs, he's sort of smiling like this is going to be fun.
Walker.
I can't wait for my mentions. Walker loves it.
Captain Revenge, Nick Alberga.
I think that's the point. Is that they're trying to get your attention. They are, and really, what is there to debate? What is there really to talk about right now? There's nothing happening. Okay, so they lost a couple games in a row. They had somewhat of a comeback against the Blackhawks because they actually started playing like them again. And then what? So what? It doesn't affect them. Boston's lost 3 straight. The Leafs have lost a couple in a row. Nothing's changed in the standings. Literally, guys, what is there to talk about? It's a gray March day. There isn't anything to talk about until the playoffs start.
Do you remember when, like, if you got up in the middle of the night or something when you were a kid? Do you remember turning on a channel and just seeing nothing? I remember that.
Yeah, when there would be like and then like the channel would be like the first show of the day.
Yeah.
It would just be the
channel would turn on.
Yeah, they would run bars and tones, some channels.
Yes.
Yeah. After a certain
I remember Global at like 2 a.m. I think it would turn off. It'd run bars and tones.
Global.
Yeah, which is
think about that, and no one does that anymore.
And
There's so much time to fill.
I can vividly remember channels starting the day with "Oh Canada."
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh, because you would have got up early. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they used to start it with that, and then it would be like.
Oh my
like
God, we're
some
so
like
old.
well, not really. It's just what's changed in our lifetime.
Yeah. No,
our
but like
lifetime.
it's the channels not being on anymore isn't a thing.
Right.
So you can't go on Sportsnet and be like, there's not much to talk about. You got to go, all right. Why do you think, I don't know, we do 2-hour podcasts a week. Why do you think the Oilers and Sens always come up?
Because they're always doing crazy shit.
Always something to talk about. Always. The Minnesota Wild? Not as much. The Jets? The Jets have been boring.
Well, except for the fact that Laine didn't score for a bit, and people were suggesting that he should be traded. How are they going to re-sign him?
But like they're just, and there's another team where there's not as much to talk about because they're just good now, and it's the cup or nothing.
Yeah.
So what's the verdict there when Brian Burke says something crazy like this and Twitter goes out of control and
Leave it alone.
everybody reacts to it?
It was like
Life goes on.
It used to be that when Steve Simmons said something crazy, people would retweet it and then be like, "Can you believe this guy?
Yes.
Can you believe?"
And now it's I can. Because he does that all the time.
That's literally what he does. And you almost become blind to it. Like, you almost become like, oh, yeah, of course he would say that. Understand where he's coming from. And he's enjoying this.
Poor Adam.
All I'm saying is he's enjoying this. And he should be. Don't let him get your goat.
Don't let him get your goat. Now you're old.
So where are the Leafs now?
Toronto.
That's my... Well, yeah. They're actually playing tonight. I believe they're wearing their St. Pat's jerseys this weekend.
They play tonight and tomorrow?
Yeah. Back to back.
Ottawa tomorrow.
Are they in Ottawa or are they in Toronto?
Oh, I'm an idiot. I didn't think they were playing the Flyers till tomorrow.
No, it's Flyers tonight.
That's hilarious.
Van
I saw a
Riemsdyk's
guy...
been doing the press rounds and
It's
everything.
at Ottawa.
Okay. I saw a guy in a Flyers jersey on the way here, and I was like, oh, that guy must be from out of town. You're a day early, idiot. Oops.
Said the guy who's from out of town.
No, I didn't scream at him, Jesse. I just thought this thing.
Also, it's probably a good idea to come to a nice city like this early.
Yeah.
You know, you get to see the sights.
Toronto's not a stay-and-go city. You got to waltz around it a little bit. Explore it. Yeah. So anyway.
So noted out-of-towner Steve.
Yes. Evidently.
You don't realize how far Steve is until you have to make the drive.
Oh, man.
Thanks for making it yesterday, guys.
It wasn't even the drive. We drove to Whitby, not Oshawa.
Is Whitby closer? I don't know.
Slightly.
Yeah.
You don't know. Shut up.
It's so far. It's all just out of the way.
Yeah, it's all just a blur. But anyway, I want to, before we ask...
Guys are acting like I live in Timmins.
Before we talk about tomorrow, or yesterday.
Holy shit.
You know what? Technically, we're going to talk about both. So before we talk about either, let's talk about the Leafs.
Yes.
Okay.
Terrible first period against the Blackhawks. And it echoed the Tampa Bay Lightning game, except the Leafs actually came back and played really well about midway through the second period.
Dude, when I saw them in the third, I'm like, there they are. There they are. Like, that's been the most terrifying thing about this team. And I think Babcock is getting so much heat from so many people, including myself, because every game, whether there's an injury or not, I look at the team on paper and I go, they're better than this. Even the games they win, they have a dominant lineup. And they looked dominant. And it wasn't score effects. I mean, a little bit. It was a little bit of the Blackhawks just sort of going, all right, let's crawl into our little shell and we'll be fine.
Which the Blackhawks can't do. They don't have the talent to do that.
No, the third period was what that game should have been. The Leafs, who are better than the Chicago Blackhawks these days, kicking them up and down the ice and sideways and diagonally. All over the place. It's a miracle the Leafs didn't win that game 7-5. In regulation.
Yeah.
The only way you can win a game by 2 goals, Stephen. It's so frustrating. They look dominant. I'm confident they'll start the game against the Flyers this way. We'll see. And what's funny is I remember specifically saying last show, can the Leafs lose to Chicago as long as it looks like they played well?
Well,
And the answer we came to was yes.
thankfully the third period has made some of the panic go away because you go, there it is, right?
Some of it, it's too little too late. Like, what if they had a 5-4 game and it's like the Blackhawks get a couple and the Leafs get one, and I think that would have been better than what they did. Like, I don't understand what this team is.
Right.
And that's never a good sign for any team, as I've pointed out many times over the years. What are they? Morgan Riley put the team on his back. Marner was amazing. Tavares was amazing. Matthews is just so scary when he's on. Janssen looked better. Willie's flying. No player looked bad in the second half of that game. None. Maybe the third pair.
So what happened in the first half?
I don't know. Also, I forgot to say this in my video. I'll say it here. Freddie, you've already done it once this season. If you're hurt, say something and sit your ass down. Get whatever shaker you need. Get whatever butter, caramel sauce, barbecue shaker, whatever you need for your popcorn in the press box.
Oh, okay.
What, you never been to a movie theater, Josie?
I didn't know where you were
I
going.
wasn't
That's
sure
where
you
I
were
was going.
Yeah.
Get whatever you need to make your popcorn delicious.
It's just not the first thing I think about when I think about
Me
a
neither,
hockey player
no.
sitting out.
That's the first thing I think of is popcorn.
I'm like, is
because
he
I'm
rubbing
hungry.
caramel on a groin or something? Like, what's the
Smelling
deal?
salt? Is it a new
Or like
smelling
leg?
salt?
You know, like,
I
no,
don't know.
Okay, there, Yaramir.
goalie groin injury is what I'm talking about. Not that.
Oh, listen, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what is ailing him. Maybe it's the flu. If you got the flu, say you got the flu. Say you got something. Say I feel like shit. My nose is stuffed. My chest hurts. My arm hurts. My groin hurts. Whatever you got to say. If you're hurt, get off the ice. No. Don't go to the bench. Don't put on the hat. Go sit. There's 12 games until the fun starts, Freddie. If something's not right, get it right. If you're less than 100%, they don't make it out of the first round. How great is California? I've been, it's good, but it's not that great. Wouldn't you rather spend that extra 2 months playing hockey, or are you going to go there again? Get well. I'm not convinced he is. Yes.
You mentioned 12 games. Is it a problem that the team has trouble starting with only 12 games left?
It's
It's a huge problem.
more of a problem that they've been doing it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, at least. Like,
It's a huge problem.
Huge is
I've been beating the drum.
it's huge.
It's huge.
People would say.
Huge.
I've been beating the drum that, people are acting like the Bruins are this unbeatable friggin' Thanos, and it's just not true. The Leafs can beat them. They almost did. They won the season series last year, not that means friggin' anything, as we've learned. Recently? Like, I can't even convince myself to beat that drum anymore. This team needs to play like this team. I don't know what identity they've randomly started to assume, but it's shit. And you can't just blame it on the third pair, and you can't blame it on the flu and Hyman out and Kapanen out. I look at the Leafs offense.
And Dermott and Gardner.
And Gardner, but I look at the whole lineup, and they should be in every game. You could take a couple more guys out of the lineup, and they'd still be better than the Sens on paper. Mm-hmm. I put this defense against the Sens for sure on Morgan Riley alone. So I don't know what this is, and the fact that they came back so strong is almost more frustrating. Where was this? Why does it got to take a 5-0 deficit for you to give a shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Matthews with the goal when it was 4-0 against Tampa. Mm-hmm. Like, where was this? It's just, it was his usual dominant self. It's scary, man. It's scary. Listen, I want to make LFR videos in May. I've only done it once, and it's because the season was delayed because of a lockout. I want to make LFRs in May and June.
That's so funny. Oh, my God.
I know. Once in my life, I've made LFR videos that weren't about the Marlies in May, and it was still for a first-round playoff series. For the love of God, let me go past Game 89. Give me Game 90. Give me Game 100. I'm sick of this. Play like you played in the third. Right? Right. And Freddie, sit your ass down. If you're
Adam, do you have an answer to the question, why does it take a 5-0 deficit to get the team going?
Do I have an answer? If I had an answer, I'd be the coach. But
well, and the more I think about
I definitely don't have an answer now.
Sorry, fuck. I'm brutal. I'm so brutal.
I'm sorry, I had to do that to you. I'm so sorry.
Because it's so rude. I'm sorry.
It's not rude.
No other host would put up with this. I'm sorry.
It's not rude, man.
The medium allows for that, Steve. It's
Let me try to do that to Jeff Merritt. Let me try to do that. I'll get a smack because you guys are the most patient people on earth.
No, come on, man. You make it seem like working with you is hard.
Isn't it?
No, you know what I would say? And this is going to sound ridiculous. But this is my theory. If you hate it, you hate it. I don't care. My theory is that you've got a lot of young guys on that team who believe that, who know they're talented, are aware of how good they are, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I don't know, when you're 22, when you're 21, when you're 20, 30 seems like a long way away.
Yeah. We got tons of time.
Yeah. And I am not suggesting that these guys are not competitive. I'm not. But I am saying that I don't think I think it would be impossible for anybody that age, having grown up in the way that these guys have, with an insanely talented team. I think it would be impossible for them to have the other perspective, because I don't think they ever lost like that. Like every one of these core members, these guys, with the exception of Tavares, has played on a playoff team their entire career. Except for, and Morgan Riley too. Okay? Morgan Riley gets it. I would imagine John Tavares gets it. The Islanders were terrible. And so you got three guys, Marner, Matthews, Nylander, who for various reasons have had differing seasons, up and down. Marner disappeared in the last couple of weeks, came back. He's Mitch Marner. Oh my God, what a surprise.
And even when he disappeared, he was still putting
Still
up
amazing.
points.
Yeah. Still amazing.
Yeah. But it was just the standard he set for himself.
And people are suggesting that Nylander's not as good as he even was last year because he missed, the first 3 months of the season.
Watch the games.
Yeah,
If you're going to talk, just watch the games.
Exactly. And
please.
Matthews had a shoulder injury, and I get that. And I am not suggesting for a second that these guys are not competitive, are not going out there every game thinking they're prepared or whatever. But if you want to tell me that Austin Matthews has the same perspective on this as Patrick Marleau, I'm sorry, you're wrong. I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Well, and also,
Patrick Marleau can see the end of the road.
Who's-
And it's either this summer or it's next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Austin Matthews cannot see the end of the road right now. And that is not because, and again, I really want to emphasize, perspective is key here. This is not a you're not competitive, but I can tell you that extra little bit that you need, that extra little bit that Marchand and Bergeron and those guys have in Boston, because they start on time, that comes with age. And there are lots of things that come with age, and I only know that because I'm getting older.
There are 8 guys in the starting lineup who are 23 and under.
Wow.
Pretty tough to have that perspective.
Well, and you know what I did at 23 and under? Crammed. I was studying weeks in advance. No. I crammed. And now I'm like, I get fired. So I put a little bit more preparation into what I do because the stakes are higher.
Exactly.
When you're young. Now, I don't know if it's that. However, whenever we talk about the Bruins series and we talk about Leafs who played well, who do we talk about?
Bergeron and Marchand. Oh, wait. What, Leafs?
For the Leafs.
Oh, for the Leafs?
Yes, correct, Adam. But for the Leafs.
Well, I mean, it was interesting last year that there was one game, I think it was game 5, where Babcock even said after the game that he's like, I put Matthews and Nylander out there hoping that they would dominate, and they didn't.
It was 4.
It was game 4? That was
4, that was
and I think
pathetic.
that was unfair because they were not great in that game, but I thought they had really great playoffs, both of them.
But that was the game. That was the Bergeron didn't play.
Yeah.
They had home ice. That was the game. They didn't lose that series in game 7. They lost it in game 4, even though they won the next 2. That was the game.
We were sitting ice level for that.
You were.
Sure were.
Haunts me, that friggin' game. Now,
That's right, we were there.
We were in between the benches.
We saw 2 of the most awful losses I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
That
Last
series.
year.
Oh my God. People were telling me to never go back to a game.
you should have never.
I know.
And I saw a magical game between the benches in game 3. That was one of the best days of my life. That was a top 5 day in my life. And my basement flooded that day. That's how much the Leafs winning a playoff game means to me, even if it's in the first round. So, to say, like a lot of people were talking about Matthews like he was a bum in that series. The production wasn't there. But next year, when his contract kicks in, he's going to be paid to be a dominant player. He's got to be dominant. Oh, he's getting shadowed by this guy and the other guy. Got to be dominant. Nylander, he's not getting that money, but he's getting decent money. He's got to be dominant. The players we always talk about being good in that series, Marner put the offense on his back.
Placanitz.
Marner was great.
And Marleau and Placanitz. The rest of the team ought to be ashamed.
Wow,
that Thomas Placanitz.
This is a whole year later, by the way, this rant.
Yeah, what happened?
The rest of the the fact that we talk about Thomas Placanitz as a game changer in that series
was.
is an embarrassment to that team. I know he got to play with Marner. Wasn't that the whole line? It was Marner, Placanitz, Marleau.
It's a good line.
It was a great line,
Best
and it was
line.
because Kadri was out.
Yeah.
Oh my God! If they had Kadri in the lineup, if they didn't duff Game 4, if they just showed up in the third period,
Now,
that series was theirs. It drives me nuts.
And
they need to be dominant. They need to be the team that they are.
somebody who would back you up on that after we saw game 2 in Buffalo or Boston,
2.
Was it game
Game
2?
2.
Yeah.
Was Darcy Tucker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Darcy Tucker held court and asked Jeff Fayette, who was there, asked any of the people that were on that bus with us.
To
Darcy
film
Tucker, I wish we had.
Oh.
Darcy Tucker should be a coach or just a motivational speaker.
No, he wouldn't last.
He said...
He would not last.
No.
He'd
Well,
strangle one of his
he's
players.
a good motivational speaker.
Yeah.
He'd be hopping over the benches.
Yes.
The key thing
Yes.
that he said is he said, I want to walk in that dressing room. I want to grab them each by the collar and go, this is your chance.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
It may never be better than this. Look at the talent around you. And that was before Tavares.
Oh,
And
this is
that's
the anxiety.
Yeah.
So next year, they're going to go through... Next year, they might be better.
Next year,
I kind of have a feeling they will be.
they will be.
Sure.
But-
they're young kids who are only improving with age.
Yes.
Right, but the cap trouble. So they're going to lose some guys as a result. With Tavares, at least there was some shuffling. All right, you sacrifice Bozak and JVR and Komarov, and you do some finagling with the Martin
Mr.
contract.
Roman Polak.
And Roman Polak is not back. Holy smokes, there's nights where I wish he was back, and which is just very sad. This year, to me, at least in terms of the cap, is such a much better opportunity than next on paper. Now, there was another team that said that recently, and they were the Washington Capitals.
Yep.
Things turned out great for them. So it's not the end of the road. But forgive me if I'm a little anxious if we're talking about this year as another first-round exit.
I don't blame you. I mean, I'm not too worried about it. If they do lose in the first round this year, I'm going to be disappointed and upset. But I have to be honest. I just can't get that upset when I look at the future. I just can't.
I can. Because it's now.
No.
Steve, it's now. It's not the future. It's the present.
Fine.
You
But
can win in the future too, you know.
I agree.
You can
but
win
it's
now.
not over.
No, it's not over, but it's another full year.
Yeah. And you're only saying that so many times. You're only saying, okay, we didn't win this year. What about next year? Eventually, you run out of next year's.
Which is my perspective thing.
That-
Which was my
and
argument.
Babcock said that. He said, what was it? Like next year never comes in sports.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it might not be, and listen to the way that we're talking about this team. I don't know if it's a lack of compete with the Leafs. It's they're mentally in April. They're looking past all these games.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't they have another game in Long Island?
Yeah, April 1st.
They don't give a shit.
No.
Like they don't care about that.
And should
After
they?
the last one, I think they should because they got embarrassed the last time they were there, and it'll finally
For
it'll be
Tavares, they should.
It'll be
Yeah.
their first game where Freddie starts against the Islanders, and it'll be their first game not on the second half of back-to-back. Although it should be pointed out that they have a game the next night. I can't remember who it's against. This team, I think, is looking past the rest of the regular season, which is dumb because it'll affect them in the playoffs. They still haven't the Bruins lost 3 straight?
I believe so.
Dude, they got a shot at home ice still.
Yeah.
Like a very realistic shot at home ice.
Yeah,
they do.
they lost 3 straight. Yeah.
Yeah, but the Leafs have lost 2 straight.
Yeah.
I
They
know.
are 4 points back of the Bruins with a game in hand.
Like, don't you want that home ice?
You could do it this weekend.
You get home ice last year, you probably win the series. Ah!
Maybe.
Maybe. I think it's more you don't duff game 4. I think that's a really good point.
There's
Also-
so many
yeah.
Last year's series haunts me so much more than 2013.
Had Freddie not let in 12 goals in the first 2 games. Let's be honest, Freddie wasn't on his game.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
And he took accountability for that.
That's why I'm screaming at him because I don't think he was 100%. Is he going to do this again? You want to do this again, Freddie? Was that fun? Was that shit fun? If you're not well, sit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit if it Sparks and Kaskisuo for the rest of the year. Because, by the way, Hutchison, I believe, is injured.
Oh, great.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I didn't see that.
Yep. Whee! So,
I think we were at that game. I think Hutchison started and then Kaskisuo came in. That was on Monday.
Yeah,
We were at that
I
game.
thot you just got pulled.
Yeah, we did too.
Yeah.
Because
No,
it was
just
a pretty
'cause-
couple weak goals.
Yeah, I thought it was just switch things up.
I think he's injured.
Wow.
So, listen. So maybe that's looking ahead, going, Freddie, I don't care. Rest. But, I mean, Sparks has won NHL games before.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, he almost won one against the Blackhawks. It sucks so much he got the L on that one. Sparky.
And you know what? I was really impressed by what I saw.
Yeah.
In that third period.
And the one goal was a breakaway.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, if Freddie's not right, if anyone on this team is not right, like I know you're depleted now, I'd rather you be depleted now than in the postseason.
Yeah.
I want Gardner back. I want Dermott back. I want Hyman back. I want Kapanen back. I want them all to be back. And don't mess around with the flu. I know it's the flu. They'll get over it in a couple games. Hainsey and Zaitsev never look the same. Hainsey looks miles and miles better this time this year than he did last.
Yeah.
Last year, he did not even look like an NHL player. And it took him months to shed that reputation. Because realistically, Hainsey hasn't even been that bad for like a few months now. But it took him a few months for us to forget what he was in March and April.
Yeah, which
he was
not
so
good.
bad.
Not good.
Zaitsev too. So
I also
get
think
better, heal up.
We also have to look at this too. And I'm a big Mike Babcock guy. I love Mike Babcock. But in the playoffs last year, when Ron Hainsey looked the way Ron Hainsey did, he didn't make any adjustments.
He didn't adjust. And this year, once they're healthy, he can.
Yes, he can.
Putting Muzzin out there in situations that Hainsey was in last year.
Yep.
Oh, come on.
It's going to be much better.
And Muzzin's another guy. Like, they're going to lean on him to do so much of the heavy work. Like, God, all of you get better. For the love of God, please. Please, I'm begging you, get better.
Now, we're a little short on time today. Because we all have to get on to different things and that sort of thing. Plus, my voice is going to run out. But I want to quickly ask you about Jeff Blashill, and then we'll get into the press conference.
Okay.
Jeff Blashill is the head of the 30th place Detroit Red Wings.
Are they 30th?
Yeah. And they are not good and haven't been good for a while.
Well, and they weren't good, and then they sold and got worse.
Sure.
That's kind of how it goes.
But I guess my sense of it, it's very, very strange to me. Bob McKenzie said today that Jeff Blashill's got nothing to worry about. He will get an extension.
Never seen a coach on such a consistently bad team that is so consistently praised. And I also don't disagree with it.
So you don't, eh? Because I don't... I have to be honest, paper. I just don't know. Because I look at... Yeah, the team on paper sucks.
They're not built to do anything.
But then... I mean, all he said is he's pressed the right buttons with the young players. At 30th, they're still playing better than they look on paper. Okay.
Every time they play the Leafs, it's a problem. So maybe I'm basing it just on, just on their games against the Leafs. But like I watched a lot of hockey this year through ice surfing. I don't remember Detroit getting blown out too many times. They're always in it. Mm-hmm. They're always in it. They're a competitive team, and I think once they're good, like this isn't a coach who's falling on deaf ears or falling flat or growing old. I feel like Jeff Blashill is growing with that team. And if they do well in the draft lottery this year, if they like what they see from Zadina's progress, they just signed a college free agent.
Tyro Irizarry.
Could be pretty good. And I mean, players still like signing in Detroit, eh?
Yeah.
And I think that might be a generational thing too.
I also, a lot of them grew up watching Datsuk and Zetterberg, but I also would say that Detroit has done an incredible job. That arena is the best arena in the league.
Really?
Yes.
I haven't been.
Yeah, best arena in the league. And that the building around it that they're setting up with the Illich family and all the development, the new Detroit has not been marketed very well.
Yeah. I'm cheering for Detroit, man.
Yeah, well, Detroit, the city, yeah.
Yeah.
The
city.
I don't think people, like Detroiters, get what's going on there, and it's very exciting.
Is that the term?
Yeah.
Detroiters?
Yeah, but
all
people outside of Detroit don't really know. They haven't done a great job of reaching out and saying, hey, look at all this great stuff we're doing, but they are doing some incredible things there. And I think there's a lot that's appealing. Like, imagine that you can buy a 4,000 square foot house that needs a little refurbish for $100,000, and you're an NHL player.
Oh, it's okay. Here it is.
You know what I mean?
Adam is so stoked on Detroit.
You can. The taxes aren't that heavy. You can get to the arena and back pretty. I mean, most people would live in Ann Arbor, I would imagine, because that seems to be the richer area. But like, the lifestyle isn't bad there. Michigan's got incredible lakes. If you want to stay there year round, there's a lot going on in Detroit that is exciting.
They got to fix up Flint.
Yeah, but that's not Detroit's problem. That's Michigan's problem.
Right.
So I think there's a lot there, and I get why people sign there. I don't get why the Red Wings sign who they signed, though. That's yeah, I don't understand.
Their own guys.
Yeah.
No, they signed. Their problem was they had these Zetterbergs and Datsuks and Lidstrom, and they signed all these guys who were under them because they thought, okay, now here's a bigger role for you. No.
No, they weren't. They weren't those guys.
You signed fourth liners to second line contracts because that's what you thought they could be, and you were wrong.
Right.
But it's a shame because the Darren Helm or Abdelkader, take your pick on those contracts. People talk about them with the Detroit Red Wings like it was a stupid decision that they made yesterday. Like
No,
these
this
are
was
now
like 5 years ago.
Yeah, these are now like several-year-old problems that they still haven't really fixed, but I feel like they're taking the right steps. Like I look at teams that are doing better than them and consider them as worse.
Right.
Like the Oilers, who are honestly like 2 trades away from being a cup contender because of that ridiculous core they have. I don't have faith in them that they know what they're doing. The Ottawa situation, I would argue they have a better core as well, even though they stripped it completely bare. They got, I would probably say better prospects. But Detroit, I just feel like, I don't know, is this the one team that I become an old man and go, they have a tradition of winning, and I just believe they'll get it back? Like I haven't really seen any delusion from them recently that they think they're better than what they are.
There's been some delusion.
There's some.
There's been some
Every
delusion.
team's got a little bit of delusion. I think they'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe they should get picked on more than they do on this show because we pick on so many other teams, but I just don't think what they're doing is wrong.
The Canucks and Oilers. The Canucks are 10 points out of a playoff spot. The Oilers are now 8.
That's such a shame.
Now, the Canucks, you feel like, oh, that's such a shame. But the Oilers, you're like, I expected this.
Oh,
and so, like, the Canucks is like, oh, that was fun. And I understand why they were selling hey, we might make it.
Yeah, October and November was fun to be a Canucks fan.
Yeah.
You saw Pettersson go off.
That was
and
awesome.
You're like, hey, we got a bunch of young things, and they're fun, and we're kind of floating with the playoff spot, or flirting with the playoff spot, and then it didn't happen, but it was fun.
Yeah.
2 teams that I don't think... 2 fan bases I think that should be happier than they are. The Canucks, and I think they're actually handling it pretty well. They understand what the season was. Sabres fans. I don't think Sabres fans should be as down on their team as they are.
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
I think they're going to get Skinner back. I really do. And if they get a few saves, which they did in November, and they continue to grow, I think they'll be okay.
Well, it depends, too, how they do in the lottery, because now they're going to be in it.
That too.
And with the Oilers, I mean, I think, what was it? Ken Hitchcock called it the red flag game. I think it was more like the white flag game.
What?
Yeah.
The white flag game. You.
And I think Edmonton, they were on a heater. They were trying. When they lost, that was rough.
That's been the most torturous part of the Oilers season for fans, I think, is that they'll go on these 4 or 5 game stretches where, hey, here they are. It's 2015 again. Mm-hmm. No. No, or not 2015,
16.
sorry, 2016. 2015 was the nightmare that got them Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
It's just been torturous. They can't just be bad. Hey, here we come. What were they, within like 6 points of a playoff spot?
Yeah.
That's doable.
Tough, but doable.
Tough, but like we've seen crazier things happen. Oh God.
Yeah, I know.
Torture in Edmonton, man.
Let's do the press conference.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Steve, how was your book launch yesterday?
It's a lot of fun. Who's that from?
That's from Jesse.
It was very fun. My friend Jesse Blake came, and no one else. Adam was there. Well, and after like the longest day ever, so I really appreciate it. We did it ahead of the release date. I don't even know what to call it anymore. I know. And I was talking to SL afterwards. I can't believe it's legal that any one person should be that happy. Like I was so happy yesterday. Like all my closest friends and family were there, and it was just friggin' awesome.
Wow.
It was so
That's
good.
really
Man.
cool.
It was
That's
so
cool,
good.
man. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
And like the folks at ECW Press were there. One of my high school teachers came. Did you get to talk to Medill?
No, I didn't see him.
Yeah. So the teacher from Keep Your Head in Your Own Boat, if you've read the book, or remember when I read that chapter, he came.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, if you've read the book, from the Nike stories was there, and I haven't spoken to him in person in God knows how many years. it was great. My boss from the zoo came. That was great.
Nice.
That was so good. Yeah, man. Just felt really happy.
Yeah, you should be very proud.
Yeah,
Just very happy.
It was very cool to see
Yeah.
from our perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish I sounded more excited. I got to be honest with you. I just feel like dog shit.
When I saw you, you sounded more, I was surprised that you were like full of life.
Sasky was there, and so was Rachel Dory and Mike Stevens, a few other people. And Sasky and Rachel gave me both hugs and like, you're really sweaty. I'm like, I know, I'm sorry, I'm getting really sick, and so yeah. God.
I shook so many hands yesterday. I was fully expecting to wake up sick, but I think it was like Mr. Burns syndrome where all the germs are trying to get through it. Whoop, 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 and they just couldn't get through.
Do you guys want a press conference question?
Sure.
It's from B. Wilkes on our Reddit page. I think it's a pretty good question.
Ben Wilkes.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I was about to say.
Might be Brian
If Toronto ends up facing Boston in the first round, which line do you think deserves the most deployment against Marchand and Bergeron? Bergeron, sorry.
I like Bergeron.
Yeah. Like Dijon, except
if
Bergeron.
Nas-
Who did they hard match? Who did they try to like?
Matthews last year.
No, that's who the Bruins
Yeah.
tried to hard match.
Oh,
But
it was
who did-
Kadri.
Yeah, but then he was out. That
Exactly.
sort of screwed
And then it was
everything up.
Plekanec, Marleau, Marner.
Which was effective on home ice.
Yes, and I think had Kadri had, I got to be honest with you, Kadri's not had the best year. He hasn't. He seems directionless in the sense that in the last couple of years you knew what Nas was.
He's sniffing.
He is
He's a
sniffing.
little. Yes, they need to give him a role for him to be effective, but I think leads the team in
Yes.
plays
I'm
where
not-
you go
I'm not talking about the goals. I'm not talking about the goals. I'm not
okay.
talking about goals. I am talking about guy who was lauded for shutting down Connor McDavid in that one game a couple years ago that everybody freaked out about.
one regular season game in like November.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And and that's when the Oilers were good. You know, it's Nas, that needs to be his role, and I'm not really sure why it's not.
I'm telling you, man, put him on the wing. Put him on the wing. Unless you're going to keep Willie with Austin, put him on the wing. That could be a good like secondary line. The Matthews line, I think, is the one you want to fly. If it's Johnson, Matthews, Nylander, you try to hard match the three-headed monster in Boston with Tavares, Hyman, Marner. Marner, it's not being talked about enough how whole of a player he's become.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
So good at both ends of the ice now.
And
so,
wow, is he great on the penalty kill.
so good. They get a breakaway every kill. It's not even every game. It's every kill they get a breakaway. So I would, hard match Hyman, Tavares, Marner for sure. But it'd be nice to have Marleau, Kadri, Kapanen to fall back on. I don't know what Babcock's thinking at this point. And I mean, after the past two games,
Who could know?
shit. Like, and I don't even think Janssen, Matthews, Nylanders look bad. The whole team has looked trash.
Yeah.
Is that why? Surely it can't be. Surely. I don't know. I still love the idea of Willie in the middle, and you just let Nas be a prick full time. That's his role. Your role is prick. Okay? Not shut down center, not the prick.
And he
role
can
is
take
prick.
he can like what Willie and Austin do on their strong sides, they take the face-offs, right? Nas could do that.
100% with Willie.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
I think with the salary structure in the team too, it makes a lot of sense. Like, you know, not this would have been something that I would slap myself earlier in the season for saying. But when you've got Austin making what he's making, Tavares making what he's making, Willie making what he's making, sure does make a lot of sense that they be the top three centers, doesn't it? And
what is there a better 1-2-3?
no. But
Come on.
But and then I'm not suggesting you trade Kadri in the offseason. I'm suggesting that maybe you put him on the wing, and because I agree with you.
You change his role. His contract
Yeah.
is still fine.
Yeah, and he's a great player.
Even on a down season, like
Yeah.
his contract's still fine. But it's a good question that's asked because if they can shut down, even if they get outscored by Marchand, Bergeron, Pasternak, if they just shut them down more effectively than they did last year, they win that series.
Yep.
I'd love to know what the goals for and against was for lines that weren't that one. The Leafs must have beaten them.
Maybe.
It was that one line, they had no answer for it, no response. So JT, do you love me? Mm-hmm. We need you, buddy.
Just some quick Marlies news. The Marlies have signed defenseman Emily Rasanen to a PTO. He's the guy that they drafted over Alex DeBrincat, who scored the other night.
No, that's Yegor Korshkov.
Oh, that was Korshkov, who I believe is also coming over. That's the
He's
rumor.
coming over. Rasanen is the 6'7" huge defenseman they drafted out of Kingston in the second round.
Right.
And it looked like a decent pick. Took a bit of a step backwards last year. And he decided, all right, I'm going to go to Russia. I think it was, or he went to the KHL, played for Jokerit, so he went to Finland, and they just didn't play him, and then I think he got hurt too, and then I think he ended up going to Finland. So his development is stagnated because he just hasn't bloody played. So hopefully the Marlies give him the chance that he needs to actually develop, and then. But he might lose some ice time to the other guy that they signed to a PTO.
Joseph. Well, we said it last show, but Joseph Duzak, or is it Jake?
Yeah.
I don't know. Duzak.
I can't remember. No, but he signed his Leafs contract. So he signed a contract with the Marlies, so that because his Leafs contract is for next year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he had to sign a contract with the Marlies.
Interesting.
So 2 right-hand D. I'm cheering for Rasanen to make it because the market inefficiency these days is big meanies. Because they sort of, brought themselves into existence or wiped themselves out of existence. If he makes it, that's wonderful news. It just doesn't look like he's going to make it at the moment.
Right. So we'll see what happens.
The Marlies do an excellent job developing, man.
I think
he made a big mistake going to Europe.
I think next year, too. Well, that's why I kept saying Sandin and Liljegren should have stayed. Both years I said Liljegren staying, and then the next year I said Sandin staying. Both years I caught shit for it. And look at what they've done. I think you want your players to be around the development staff at the Marlies. You look at the amount of people they've graduated. If you are a prospect and there's a choice given to you, how is the Marlies not your choice 100% of your time?
Well, and
I'm not saying that Rasanen was given a choice. Maybe
his choice, because I just don't think the roster spot was there.
He might have been Growlers.
I think that's the move,
and that might have been better.
I think he should go to Newfoundland for the rest of the year. I really do, because I don't know if he's going to get the ice time with the Marlies. He should have stayed in junior. He fell victim to the thing that happens to a lot of young prospects. They go, you know what? I'm going to at least go make money in Europe. But the thing about those teams in Europe is they don't give a shit about your development. They're signing you to be a player. They don't care about the long term. They know you're gone, so they don't give a shit. So he's suffered a little bit. Hopefully he gets it back. I hope he goes to the Growlers and plays 20 minutes a night.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are your March Stanley Cup predictions?
Ooh, I mean, Jesus, how do you go against Tampa? How? Really unpopular opinion, but I'm going to say it. Okay. Stanley Cup final. I think Vegas out of the West.
Back to back?
Out of the East, Pittsburgh.
Whoa.
That is very out there.
Are you watching that team of murderers recently?
They've been good.
They're
7-1-2 in their last 10.
They're a win away. Now the Islanders have a game in hand, but they are a win away from tying the Islanders.
Not just the wins, because the Coyotes have put together some wins. Blackhawks have put together some wins. The Penguins are playing with their food. Sidney Crosby has come to play, and you are all in trouble.
They're like the Yankees, man. They turn it on late season. They know when to turn it on, and then they go. Or at least the way the Yankees used to be.
If Matt Murray makes some saves, which he has been recently, you're in so much trouble.
Yeah.
Sidney Crosby's come to play.
And hey, look at this. Columbus in a playoff spot.
In a playoff spot.
For now.
Despite their best efforts. Holy smokes, that Bruins game.
Yep.
I couldn't believe that.
I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Tampa Bay in the East. I don't know how you go against Tampa Bay.
Sorry.
And I say Winnipeg in the West.
Correct answer is Tampa versus Calgary.
Oh.
You think Calgary's going to figure it out?
Calgary's
at 93 points. What do they have to figure out?
Yeah,
Goaltending.
I think they figured it out.
I think they're pretty good.
This is the thing. If Calgary is the best team in the West, to me, they're the best team.
They just don't have a goalie.
But you never know what you're going to get on a nightly basis.
It's true. I don't hate that take.
The playoffs are so strange. You know what could happen in Calgary. Like, they're so good, and the playoffs are such voodoo that Dave Rittich could get lit up in their first 2 games. They go to Mike Smith. Mike Smith discovers his goalie voodoo bullshit. Form. Yeah, and Mike Smith hoisting the cup.
You know what's going to be fun? Game 3 in Calgary, Tampa Bay versus Calgary. They bring out Jerome McGinley.
And he fights Vincent LeCavalier.
Yeah. In the stands mid-play.
He bangs a drum or he waves a flag pregame. Everybody goes crazy, and then they get lit up 6-0.
Oh.
I can't wait.
Okay there, Walker.
And be like, this was forced on you. Sorry.
You're Calgary
This
baiting.
flag was forced into your hand because you're retired.
But I would love to see a Tampa Bay Calgary final. If I can't have the Leafs in the final, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them get blown out 4-1.
And Tampa loses because of an offside review or something.
Yeah, something dumb. Hey, gotta let you go, but we will be back next week. Thank you so much for listening. Sorry about my voice and the coughing and the sneezing.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.